I don't know about you guys, but I am just getting more and more angry by the day with this administration, with this country, with the elected officials that we have in power. We have all this money to send overseas. We have all these wars that we can start in other countries, yet we have shit like this going on in our own country. We need to focus on our own country. I'm going to play this video that we have from a resident in North Carolina.
You don't see the government. The FEMA was over there warming their campers.
I know, we saw
They
them
got
over there.
showers. They got their satellite. They're good. They got name tag, but they do nothing. They do nothing.
And they closed. I went to the mall yesterday. Went to the FEMA office they have set up at the Asheville Mall. Closed at 5:59.
Yeah.
And I said, what about the people who have to work? They have to come after work. And the guy was like,
Yeah. Yeah.
anyway, we go on and on about
the
all that.
government right now is I don't curse, but I'll say it is absolute shit. It is gone, and this right here is what they think of us. Trash.
Yeah.
Okay?
This is the Christmas that these people had to endure.
Back a few weeks ago, they were making this
If you weren't aware already, I'm just going to speak over the clip now, but if you weren't aware already, the North Carolina, among other states, were hit with a massive hurricane that has not been handled. It has not been dealt with by the government. They are very slow to make repairs. They are very slow to get resources out to these people. Meanwhile, we're sending billions overseas to foreign countries that do not fucking need it. But here we are watching our own people struggle. We have our own government not doing shit for these people. Meanwhile, they get hit with another flood, wiping out almost all the progress for the repairs. Biden announces nearly 2.5 billion in aid to Ukraine. White House, this is from the White House. Hundreds of thousands of artillery rounds and missiles, as well as hundreds of armored vehicles, are being transferred by the Pentagon to Ukraine. How are we not in a war? How can you say that the United States is not at war with Russia? At what point do you call it a war with Russia? If Mexico went to war with us and they were being armed by China, would we say that it's just Mexico, or would we say that China's at war with us too? Because this is a ridiculous semantic argument that people have been making. This is an unsanctioned war that we are taking part of. We are funding and giving all of our resources to. We are losing out on our materials and our resources. If someone comes and hits our country, we have sent a ton of our equipment overseas to a country that is not going to win a war. Ukraine is not going to win against Russia. Russia has already taken the territory that they wanted, and they're going to hold it. They have what they want. That's why when Biden gets out of office and Trump starts making deals with Putin, it's going to go basically like, all right, you keep what you have taken already, and we'll just de-escalate from there. That's how that's going to go. But Biden's doing everything he can to just rip this country apart. If you hadn't seen already, I made a video recently of where he's selling the sections of the border wall for $5 a bid. So the bid starting at $5, you can take these like 6 foot by 30 foot solid steel segments of wall. That's how much the Biden administration was selling it off for. So while we're selling parts of the border off for $5 and we're sending 2.5 billion in material aid to Ukraine, on top of that, we just had today Janet Yellen. So this just in, Biden announced 2.5 billion in funding for Ukraine. Yet again, this is on top of the like 200, 300 billion that we've sent now. It's not all of it's cold hard cash. A lot of it's equipment, but that is equipment that we could be using if we get into a fight. And then we have, where is it here? FEMA has officially confirmed that out of the 26 families that were told they would receive a temporary home before Christmas, only 3 families received one. Only 3. So while we send 2.5 billion, which it's not just 2.5 billion, we have this from Libs at TikTok. So 2.5 billion in security assistance for Ukraine, and then the Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen has announced 3.4 billion in budget aid to Ukraine. So we are sending 2.5 billion in equipment and 3.4 billion in cold hard cash. So basically another 6 billion right after Christmas. Meanwhile, the incoming administration is going to put a shutdown to this. How is it that the outgoing administration can do shit like this? We have clearly voted. The American people have voted. We have made our voice heard. Yet here the president is, who's supposed to be for the people. He's supposed to do as we say. He's our employee. He's not, just because he's the president, he runs everything. He's running shit for us. So when we say we want something, he is supposed to do that. It doesn't matter what your feelings are on the matter. If someone wants something and the people have voted that way, that's how it's supposed to go. But here we are with North Carolina looking like this. So this is from Libs at TikTok. So this is what North Carolina looks like right now. We just sent $6 billion over to Ukraine yet again, on top of all of the money and material aid we've already sent to a losing war just so we can fuck with Russia. Meanwhile, this is the United States. This is what your country is, people. This is what it is right now. We look at the devastation. Cars destroyed, things in ruin. This is what most of North Carolina, or a lot of North Carolina, looks like right now, and the federal government isn't doing a damn thing about it. What are they doing? Systematically dismantling the country is what they're doing. And meanwhile, while I was researching this story, you may have noticed that they're all ex post. That's because when you search up what's going on, North Carolina floods after hurricane 1 week ago is the most recent story from NBC News. After Hurricane Helene, North Carolina's holiday tourist season grinds to a halt. I don't fucking care. So everyone just takes a holiday, I guess. North Carolina gets fucking swamped, and Ukraine gets $6 billion on top of everything they've already got. And here we are. Do you see anything recent? No, none of it's recent. All of it's old. All of it's talking about stuff from months ago. So there's an absolute media blackout on this. And of course there is, because what else is there to say? You're going to talk about how North Carolina is not getting any aid, how no one's getting any help. Meanwhile, we just sent $6 billion in shit over to Ukraine yet again. Absolutely ridiculous. What do we do? What do we do in this situation? I mean, there's not a whole lot we can do because the federal government is ineffective as hell. Really all you can do is complain about it. And hopefully we can vote in the next election to vote these motherfuckers out. You need to keep names. You need to start taking names of who's voting for this stuff, who's doing what, and we need to get them out of office. We have new people coming in 2025, so we'll see how they do. But a lot of them are still establishment shills. A lot of them are going to still push for this crap, and it's not acceptable. We should not be accepting this. This is not what our country should look like. Nowhere in the country should look like this. We shouldn't be sending a single cent out of this country until we have every single issue fixed here. Ukraine shouldn't get a single cent until we solve every issue here. Everyone has a job. No one's ever homeless again. We need to solve all of our issues before we start and go and fixing other people's houses. While our house is in ruin and it's about to be condemned, we're over here rebuilding our neighbor on the other side of the world. Why are we doing that? The only explanation I have for that is that the people in power want that to be so. There's no other way around it. How is it that what kind of mental gymnastics do you have to do in your head for you to be like, maybe they're just ignoring North Carolina because they've already sent all the resources they need, or they've already gotten what they need. And it's like, clearly they haven't. Clearly they're in shambles. They need federal assistance. They need help. But here we are sending aid to Israel and Ukraine and wherever else. I mean, wasn't there a story recently? Joe Biden just sent a bunch of money over to. There's been a few countries. I'm not gonna bring them off the top of my head, but too much. Any amount is too much. But the amount that we're sending right now, it's an absolute travesty, and it's really sad to see. And of course, this is how we're going to go into the new year. We're going to go into the new year with our country in shambles, and it's incredibly sad. It's not the country I know we can be, and it's not the country that we should strive to be. We need to be, I get that we're trying to have a strong we're trying to have a strong force in the world, but while we're trying to prop up things all over the planet, we're not propping up our own home. If our home falls, if everything starts coming crashing down here, we won't be able to do everything we're doing overseas. So meanwhile, while we're helping all these countries, we're just siphoning away our own resources and we're hurting ourselves. It's not working. It's not going to work in the long run, and this is not going to help anybody. If you try to help everyone, you end up helping no one. That's just a fact. You can't help everybody. You know, I talked about this with family recently because they're worried about Trump deporting families. Well, you know, we need to focus on American citizens. And I understand that a lot of the people that may be deported in the coming years are going to be American citizens. But the thing is that the American citizens that are going to get deported shouldn't have been American citizens. We're one of the only countries, if not the only country on the planet that has birthright citizenship. We shouldn't have it. I believe it's completely abused, and that's not an opinion. I say believe, but that's not an opinion. Someone in California was charged recently because they were assisting Chinese women in getting their kids born here, so that way their kid would have dual citizenship. They're literally making money off of the system. Now, who would you rather have for president, right? Would you have, let's say, someone who immigrated here, worked their ass off, built a massive company, helped tons of people, just overall great guy, right? Well, he wasn't born here, so he doesn't get to run for president. But let's say a Chinese immigrant, he gets born here, and then he goes back to China, stays in the Chinese Communist Party for the next 21 to 30 years. Then he immigrates back over here, stays into the country for like 5 to 7 years, and then runs for president. That guy can run for president, but someone who actually immigrated here, worked hard for this country, and actually gives a shit about the country, they couldn't. That makes absolutely zero sense to me. And how is it that you don't have to be a citizen yourself in order to give birth to a citizen? That is absolutely ridiculous, and nowhere else in the world can you do that. And like I said, when in the coming years, when we start deporting people, a lot of these American citizens are going to be deported as well, and it has to be. And I'm not talking about adults. Of course, adults shouldn't be deported. If they're over 18 and they can take care of themselves, they're citizens, is what it is. But I'm talking about 12-year-olds and stuff that are not able to take care of themselves on their own, and they have 2 illegal immigrant parents. You have 2 options in that scenario. Well, technically 3, if you ask my grandmother, but I'll go through all 3. So your options are: we deport them as a family all together. So the mother's illegal and the father is illegal, but they have a American citizen son. You deport all of them together back to wherever they came from. That would be my option. That would be the best thing to do, in my opinion. Second option is you deport the parents, but you keep the American citizen here. I don't like that option because I don't want that kid to end up in foster care. We all know that the foster care system is broken and it needs to be reworked. I don't think we need to start adding a bunch of immigrant children into the mix. That's a recipe for disaster. That's not a good idea. We already have a huge human trafficking problem in this country. We don't need to be adding to the possible familyless kids. That's just not a good idea. But of course, that is another option. Third option, if you ask my grandmother, is that we just focus on the criminals and focus on the people that don't have kids, and the people that do have American children, they get a free pass. I don't agree with that at all. I get the sentiment behind that, but like I was saying before, we're the only country in the world that has birthright citizenship, and they shouldn't be citizens in the first place. That is something we need to change and something we need to clarify in the law. But as it stands now, they are American citizens, and I think they should be with their illegal parents back to wherever their parents are from. I think that would be the best option. And hey, I'm not saying we take their citizenship away. If they want to come back when they're old enough to take care of themselves, I'm all for it. I don't care at that point, but I worry about them going into the foster system, and I worry about what kind of message we send out to the world when we're like, hey, come have your children here and then you get a free pass, you get to stay. I don't like that idea either, because then that'll just encourage that kind of behavior. So we definitely don't want that. But the reason I bring this up is we have all these people that we're helping, all these different immigrants, all these different countries. We're just letting everyone in. We're trying to help everyone. And what's happening is American people are getting neglected. And the more we help the outside world, the more this shit will happen. If you remember what happened in Hawaii, those massive fires, almost nothing happened with that. The federal government did not care. You look at what happened with these most recent hurricanes. You look at what happened with the train derailment in Palestine, Ohio a few years back. The government does not care about the American people. They care way more about some Ukrainian that they don't even know the name of in another country just because they want to get at Russia. Absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, rant over, and I just wanted to talk about this because this just absolutely pissed me off. This is just unacceptable, and I'm doing my part to voice my absolute hatred of this administration and what they're doing to this country. Hopefully we see some improvement over the next few years, and I sincerely hope it is better than this. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you guys subscribing. The channel is growing a lot faster than I thought it would, so I do like that. Please share this video. Tweet at me on X. I keep calling it Twitter. I like calling it Twitter more than X. But follow me on X. I'm at Tyler Rittenauer on X. You can get at me there. Earlier yesterday, I didn't really have anything to talk about. So I didn't make a video. I'm sure there was tons of stuff I missed. I mean, a lot of the ways I search up things is on X. I ask Grok. I search up things on my own. I try to look at the news and stuff. But as I showed you here, sometimes the media just has a blackout on things. So if there's news stories that I'm missing and you guys like somehow come across it before I do, or I just like miss it completely, send it to me on X. Send it to me on X so I can look into it and I can maybe make a video about it. That would sincerely help a lot, and I would be able to get more content out to you guys. But like I was saying, thank you guys for watching. If you haven't already, subscribe for more. There'll be more videos throughout the day. Thank you.